some reason, I recently decided that it was important for me to calculate how many kilometres I'd covered travelling the world. Sad, huh? At over 2 million kilometres air travel alone, I'm the guy you want on your trivia team for the geography questions, unless those questions are about Cambodia and Vietnam, two of the most emerging, happening, desirable destinations on the planet, and I'm here for the first time to discover two countries blessed with the heavenly despite their histories of hell. And I can tell you, I'm as eager as a kid on red cordial the night before Christmas. Over the next 3 weeks, I will be joining what I have no doubt will be a most enthralling scenic tours journey through Cambodia and Vietnam. From the Cambodian capital of Phnom Penh, we'll cruise the Mekong River across the border into Vietnam, stopping in at Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, then ending up in otherworldly Ha Long Bay, but not before we discover some of the most magnificent and renowned temples on the planet here at Siem Reap. The Temples of Angkor cover an area of around 400 square kilometres. UNESCO describes them as one of the largest archaeological sites in operation in the world. Behind here is the capital of the once mighty Khmer Empire, the Southeast Asian superpower between the 5th and 9th centuries. And this is what's left of that empire, the Temples of Angkor. They've survived the centuries, they've survived the forest, they've even survived the brutal Khmer Rouge regime. Perhaps their survival is testament to the gods these temples honour, or perhaps it's simply testament to some very funky architecture. So, how does one tackle hundreds of temples? Scenic guide Vey recommends working our way up to the jewel in the crown, Angkor Wat. We're starting small, relatively speaking, at the 10 square kilometre ancient city of Angkor Thom. How long is this moat?
3 kilometers.
3 Ks?
3 K.
And is it natural?
No, man-made.
Man-made? Why?
Yes, for alligator and crocodile.
They put alligators and crocodiles in here
yes,
to protect the city?
Yes.
Why do they build the gate so large?
This for elephants.
Oh, for elephants?
Yes.
Which would be the means of transport, the means of moving goods?
Around, transporting goods and property coming to Angkor Thom city.
The buildings and infrastructure were made from wood and have since disintegrated, so all that remains is the stone temple of Bayon, built by King Jayavarman as an homage to himself. So this is the king?
Yes, those are the King Jayavarman VII.
Right.
Yes.
So he had an ego, didn't he, to put so many faces of his own up there?
Yes.
But he's not a god?
No, he was the king, and he admired himself as Buddha.
All 54 towers adorned with faces were built by stone that was first stacked, then sculpted, a fact that makes this ancient architecture even more impressive. I feel the need for a little tuk-tuk transport. I love the tuk-tuk. They're relatively inexpensive, about $5 for a trip around here. They're easy to get in and out of. Hello! Thank you. Easy to get in and out of. And unlike many Asian tuk-tuks, these ones are pretty clean. Let's go. While some of the Angkor temples are so well preserved you could easily believe they were built less than 1,000 years ago, moss-engulfed Ta Prohm reminds you just how much time has passed. You feel truly fortunate to see it before nature swallows it up completely. You also feel a little bit like Indiana Jones. Or perhaps that's just me, but it's a more recent flick that has the tourists flocking here. It's hardly surprising that this place should inspire Hollywood, and indeed in 2000 Hollywood brought the whole glistening shebang here to shoot the movie Tomb Raider. It not only introduced this entire area to the tourist throng, such that many of these visitors refer to this as the Temple of the Tomb Raider, it also launched the career of Angelina Jolie. After a hard day dealing with the quite overwhelming splendour of these temples, Bar Street in Siem Reap is a welcome mecca for the thirsty tourist. The pick is the Red Piano, which was also the bar of choice for the Tomb Raider cast and crew during filming. And when a Hollywood princess graces your bar with her celestial presence, as Ms. Jolie did, and you're savvy enough to market the hell out of the fact, what was once a little watering hole down a rat-infested dirt track suddenly becomes all glamorous and groovy. And of course, the owner, ever grateful for his good fortune, has dedicated a cocktail to that moment, the Tomb Raider. Now, I would have named it after Ms. Jolie, but I guess it's perhaps not right to be spotted in a bar with your lips wrapped around an Angelina. Only one, though, an early rise tomorrow. It's 5 a.m. and I've joined an endless trail of tourists in tuk-tuks tootling out here. And depending on the brochure you read, this is either the 6th, 7th or 8th wonder of the world. But you've got to catch it at sunrise. And look, here they come. The tourists, like lemmings to the cliff edge, smartphone at the ready. And there is a palpable sense of anticipation as the cloak of darkness gradually lifts to reveal what is arguably the most revered temple in the world. Unfortunately, the sun didn't exactly rise to the occasion, and I'm kind of overwhelmed by a sense of disappointment. But there's no doubt this is one of the few places on the planet so majestic it quite literally sucks the breath from your lungs.
It's times like these, and it's days like these, and it's times like these, and it's days like. It's been a long time coming, but I'm falling short. It's been a long time coming, but I'm falling short. 'Cause you could save this, it's not too far to carry this.
It's testament to the almighty attraction of this powerhouse that the lack of sun hasn't deterred these snappers, eager to capture the glorious spectre of Angkor Wat in any light. Angkor means heaven on earth, which is how this ancient Hindu civilization chose to describe Southeast Asia's very first metropolis. Khmers were working, worshipping and washing here well before even Bangkok was imagined. But at the front gates of Angkor Wat, there are remnants of more recent, less heavenly events. It was 1979 and the Khmer Rouge were on the run. The South Vietnamese had come to liberate the country and were holed up in here, believing a religious monument offered them some kind of protection, I guess, as the last vestiges of the bloody Khmer Rouge rule retreated to the north of the country. These were just a few of the parting shots. Ultimately, they met with their comeuppance. Proof you should never mess with the gods. Across the bridge is the main temple, and getting up at sunrise with scenic has the added benefit of getting a bit of peace, quiet and time for contemplation at a location that attracts over 2 million tourists per year. The centrepiece of Angkor Wat represents Mount Meru, the Hindu seat of the gods, and the structure behind me is based on the bud of the lotus flower, symbolising purity. And the whole thing is the divine inspiration behind the hairdo of Marge Simpson. Wandering through what has survived the centuries to become the world's largest religious building is an experience comparable to only a few other sites on Earth, and I defy any visitor not to absorb the unmistakable aura of this place. And how have you found the temples?
Oh, they're amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Certainly a lot of history and a lot of different layers from when different periods occupied the temples.
But to think that it was all built by hand and still standing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, amazing.
And how have you found the food?
Excellent. We
Yeah?
haven't tried spiders yet, but
Oh, that's right.
just about everything else.
The fried tarantula.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a local specialty.
We're
Yeah, I
gonna
wouldn't
try
mind
that
having
tonight.
it, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Why
Yeah.
not?
Why do you want to do that? A question I decided, strangely, I should answer for myself. So, as the sun went down over Pub Street in town, I went on the hunt for Cambodia's quirky, crunchy cuisine. Oh, yeah. Snake, frog, crab, cricket, and tarantula. Strangely, the most edible of the lot, I guess. Hey, not bad. Sort of like a salty cornflake. Sugar man. I'm in Cambodia's temple town of Siem Reap at the very beginning of an already unforgettable journey with scenic tours throughout Cambodia and Vietnam. Having ticked off the temples, I'm now keen to find out what other strings to its bow Siem Reap has. In Australia, we're au fait with Asian food. We know chow mein and Peking duck from China. Thai food like tom yum goong and pad thai. We know Vietnamese rice paper rolls and that soup with the unfortunate name pho. But is there some reason why the Cambodians are keeping their dishes secret? Why is that? What do you know about Cambodian food? Nothing, right? I suspect that's because there's some secret ingredient that they know might just give us the shudders. Nice tree, mate. Scenic's free choice option allows you to tag along with local chef Bun Thorn to the morning food market to source ingredients for a Cambodian feast. There's such a curious array of delicacies on display, it's not long before I'm, well, gastronomically challenged. What is it?
Red ant.
Red ant.
Yeah.
It's quite sweet.
Yeah. Sweet, a little bit sour. A little bit sour. Yeah.
Boy, you Cambodians, you'll turn anything into food, won't you? And could it be? Is this the secret Cambodian ingredient? What is this?
This is prahau.
Which is?
Yeah, it looks like the smell is like cheese. It's made from fish.
So it smells like cheese and it's made from fish. It's raw fish, isn't it? Raw fish that's been fermenting. Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. Whoa. You eat that?
Yeah. Oh, a little bit. It's too much, I think.
That's too much?
Yeah.
Ah, you don't know me. You have to pay for that? You should be paying me. Oh. With the locals clearly convinced I'm a complete moron, we collect our ingredients for a cooking class at Cassia Restaurant.
So for fresh spring roll, we need rice paper, lettuce, carrot, green mango, cucumber, bean sprout. So the first, you have to soak the rice paper in the water.
After a 2-minute soak, we add the fresh ingredients from the market and meticulously construct a spring roll.
Good job.
Yeah.
Just like I bought one.
Okay.
Oh, we're high-fiving. A few more of those and we're warmed up for the main.
The next dish is fish amok.
In English, the word amok means crazy. So this is fish gone crazy, right? Which is thinly sliced local white fish, onions, and, well, delicately sliced kaffir lime leaves. Oh, I've messed that up. Looks like a mad woman's hairdo. A cacophony of spices, flavours, and coconut milk, and it's all ready in minutes. Fish amok, otherwise known as fish gone crazy. That's it. The only luxury hotel at the heart of the action in downtown Siem Reap is, not surprisingly, the one Scenic has chosen. Once inside, you're enveloped in an oasis of luxurious rooms, pools and superb comfort. A welcome haven from the hustle and bustle. I know there are some very fine campsites, caravan parks and motels around the world, and very popular they are too, but someone's got to support the other end of the market. Brave the aircon chill, find comfort in an acre of bed, check that the telly above the bath is actually working, and risk life and limb reaching for the top shelf booze. That's why I'm here, and this hotel could be summed up in one word: pure, unadulterated, refined and sublime luxury. And when you're ready to venture back out, a special scenic treat awaits, a night beneath the big top. What we're about to witness had its genesis, I guess, in a refugee camp where the kids needed a way to deal with the horrors and the atrocities they'd experienced during the Khmer Rouge regime. Today it exists to give underprivileged and disadvantaged kids assistance, purpose, and the chance to express their stories and Cambodian identities to the rest of the world in a manner that is unique and unforgettable. Circus Faray is listed on TripAdvisor as Siem Reap's #1 attraction, after the temples. It's not a traditional circus, there are no animals. Instead, the acts are based on the real experiences of these young and remarkably talented Cambodians. And their hard work has paid off. Faray has received much critical acclaim from right around the world. It's hard to imagine, but in 1975, this city became a virtual ghost town as Cambodians fled Phnom Penh to escape the brutal Pol Pot regime. Today, the city doesn't give much of that past away. An hour from here, though, is a chilling location where it's far more evident. No one seems to know exactly how many people were murdered by the Khmer Rouge between 1975 and 1979. Figures vary, somewhere between 1.3 million and 2.5 million, but approximately 1/4 of the entire population of Cambodia was tortured and executed. Their crimes? Well, they were educated, they were artistic, they were entrepreneurial, they may have had contact with a foreign person, or they may simply have just stolen a cucumber. Genocide poses certain problems, not the least being, where do you dispose of the bodies? The answer was mass grave sites such as this, and they became known as the killing fields. These killing fields served the gruesome purpose of getting rid of 100 Cambodians per day. And if these mass gravesites don't tell that horrifying story quite emotionally enough, perhaps the more than 8,000 skulls on display at the Central Memorial will. This is one of the few tourist attractions you will ever experience in absolute silence as visitors from around the world take in the haunting sights. In Phnom Penh, another remnant of the brutality of the Khmer Rouge regime is Toul Sleng. In 1975, it was cruelly transformed from a high school into what locals refer to as S21, a prison and torture facility. The regime's atrocities were well organised. Every torturous act was documented, and photographs of inmates lined the walls. Of the 14,000 imprisoned here, only 7 survived. Walking around the museum, it's easy to forget that this all happened just 40 years ago. Consequently, every Cambodian you meet has somehow been affected, including my guide, Veng. How old were you during the Khmer Rouge years?
When the Khmer Rouge came to power, I was 7 years old. They took my father away by saying they're gonna send him to the re-education center. They sent my families and me away to the western part of Cambodia, and they forced us to, work so hard in the rice field.
And how do you feel when you visit this place?
It's very tough, and I almost cry, especially when I talk about my father. And I found a lot of victims here and people working that remind me like yesterday, actually. I never want to come here, actually.
Yeah.
But I want to share with everybody who come here as well.
Man, that's a grueling affair. It's hardly the happy-go-lucky tour for the carefree tourist. And I wouldn't blame you for wondering why you'd want to visit. But I applaud Scenic for offering this as an option. I get it. Travel should be about broadening the outlook. And sure, that is grueling, it's horrific, it's extremely sad. But perhaps having experienced what happened here, we might just be more aware when these murderous despots and their crazed regimes surface again and be able to recognise it and man up to oppose it. How are we going on that front, do you think?